Hey guys, we're ready to start lesson 14 for today. And Miss Freeman has some of my tools. You guys are familiar with seeing some of these in the classroom in the Math Center. I went into school and snuck out our little one that you guys would be using right now if we were in the classroom. We have enough of these for everybody. So this would be your tool, and Miss Freeman would be using this big one. So I wanted to kind of show you these because you'll see these again in first grade. And so I wanted you to be familiar with what they look like. So we are going to get started today, and today we are talking all about the clock. Miss Freeman attached you a video down below. It's called Tick-Tock Around the Clock. It's a fun little song that I hope you remember all the things that we're going to talk about over the next couple of days. But today we're just focusing on what the clock looks like and some vocabulary that goes along with it. So I want you to look at my clock right now and tell me, what do you see on it? I bet a lot of you are yelling you see numbers. This particular clock, you see these little dots on the end. I see that there's a blue hand, and now you can see my red hand on the clock. And so when I move this blue hand, you notice that which hand is moving? Very good. The red one, and that's the short hand on my clock. So I've got a longer hand and a shorter hand. On this particular clock, there are two different colors, and that's to help us learn what they are. So the long hand, or the short hand here, pointing to the 4, tells me the hour. And my long hand, the blue one, directs me towards the minutes on my clock. Now we're going to get into more details about that later in other lessons, but today we're just focusing on the numbers. So I noticed that my clock starts with number 1. It goes all the way around in a circle back to number 12. Now where you see the numbers on a clock is called the face. Everybody echo, the face. So right now, everybody, you have a face, right? This is your face. It's where your eyes, your nose, your mouth are, right? Your ears are attached on there on your head. So you have the same thing on a clock. So the clock face contains the numbers all the way around. It has the minute hand, the hour hand, and on some clocks you'll see another hand called the second hand. And so all of that information is valuable when you're learning to tell time. So today on the front of your paper, it looks like this. This is the one we're working on today. You see a blue clock. And so today all we're going to focus on is the numbers on the clock and the order of those numbers. So the first thing I do is always the same. I pick up my pencil and I write my name. Now, on the front clock today, they gave us all the numbers. They just want us to trace them. So you're going to start with number 1 and work your way all the way around the clock back to 12. So we're going to trace all the way around our clock until you get all the way to 12. If you need to pause this video right now to give yourself time to do that, feel free. All right, we're going to keep going. And today, just because we identified that we do know there are 2 hands on the clock, we've got a short one and a long one. What I want you to do is from the middle of your paper, I want you to draw a short hand going to number 3. So it's going to be a short one. I'm going to hold up my paper so you can see it. A short hand going to number 3, and then we're going to make a long hand pointing to number 12. Now, we're not going to worry so much about it being perfect, okay? Just try your best to get it close to number 12. And so tomorrow, we're going to talk more about what this time says, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you today, when that big hand's pointing to the 12, we say o'clock. So this time would say 3 o'clock. So you're going to show 3 o'clock on your clock, and then you're going to flip your paper over to the back. Now, today on the back, I'm going to hear lots of, man, that was super easy, which is great. I'm glad that you think this part's easy. So numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, Miss Freeman's going to tell you some numbers to find on your clock, and all you're going to do is circle them. So number 1, I want you to circle number 2, number 5, number 10, and number 12. I'm going to repeat those. Number 1, you're going to circle number 2, 5, 10, and 12. And then point to the number 2 apple. On the number 2 apple, you're looking for number 3. You're going to circle it. Number 5. Number 8. And number 11. Again, I'm going to repeat those. On number 2, you're going to circle 3, 5, 8, and 11. Look at number 3. You're going to circle number 4, number 7, number 10, and number 12. So that was 4, 7, 10, and 12 that you're circling on number 3. And then point to the number 4 heart. We're going to circle number 1, 5, 9, and 10. 1, 5, 9, and 10. Excellent. Then point to the number 5 hand. Uh-oh. Miss Freeman sees a major problem here. If you spy it, touch your nose. Did you find it? Do you see what the major problem is? You're right. There's numbers missing. So instead of circling the numbers on this one, we have to add the numbers back to our clock. So I want you to look. We always start with number 1. So they gave us number 1 first, and we're going to make our way around the clock. So number 2 is missing, so we're going to fill that in. They gave me 3, 4, and then what comes after that? That's right, 5 is missing, so we're going to add the number 5. They gave me number 6, but number 7 is missing, so we're going to add number 7. They gave me number 8, but then I see there's 2 missing numbers. Number 9 and number 10 are missing, so we're going to fill those in. They gave me number 11, but number 12 is missing. So I'm going to stop, pause for a second, hold my paper up so you can see it. So I went in my clock and I added all those missing numbers. So if you need to pause right now so you can add those in, feel free to do so. So we're going to keep on moving. So I see that my clock, I go all the way around until I get back to number 12. No 13s on this clock. No 13s. Starts with number 1, goes all the way to 12. Good job, guys. Now, look at this next one. My first number is missing. So what number do I need to add first? That's right, number 1. Go ahead and do that. See if you can do number 6 all by yourself. You can pause the video, come back and see me when you're all finished. See if you can work on it. All those missing numbers, fill them in. You can pause the video now and work on that. Awesome. So hopefully you filled in all of your numbers for number 6. And I'm going to go ahead and hold mine up so you can double check your work. So I added number 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 11 up there at the top. So double check your clock and make sure you have that there. Now, Miss Freeman added a really cool link for you guys today. So it has an interactive clock. You can click on that link and you can go, like Mom and Dad might say, hey, can you put the minute hand, that's my big one, on a certain number, and put the hour hand on a certain number. And so you can practice making different times. Now, you guys don't know how to count yet the specific times, but that's okay. It's got this really cool button. So once I put a time on the clock, I can click the show button and it'll tell you what time the clock says. Now tomorrow you're going to learn more about telling time, and so you'll have more practice on that clock as well. So you're going to take, for example, Mom would say, can you put the hour hand on the 2? So you're working on finding the 2, and that's the short hand, the hour hand. And can you put the minute hand on the 12? Just like that. And so you can practice with that clock. There's also a video attached that has a really fun song for you guys to do. And that will just help you remember about the song and the clock as well. So you can start memorizing that song. Helps you memorize some things about the clock. All right, guys, you did awesome today. We'll be back tomorrow with more clock math.